Welcome to ModiMakes.
Oh man, I really hope that my voice isn't too nasally for all this. But no sick days for independent artists, because we don't get PTO. Okay, let's get into this. So as many of y'all know, I live in Seattle. And you know, if you live in Seattle, you gotta have a good raincoat. But honestly, I don't. To be real, if you grow up in Seattle, you don't really have a dedicated raincoat. I mean, some intelligent people do, but most of us just have standard hoodies and you get over it and get used to it. But the older I get, the more comfortable I need to be. They say you're supposed to make your life better as you age, and I'm tired of slogging it through the rain everywhere and showing up wetter than a cologne commercial. So I've been searching for a raincoat that obviously works well, but that alone is not enough for me. I need something that's fly. And as I've been looking through tons of different options, I've been falling more and more in love with that classic yellow raincoat look. I want to look like the Morton Salt Girl, but you know, as a man in his late 20s. That's a real power move. But it's hard to find the right look and fit because I'm a picky little aesthetics boy and everything has to be just perfect. So I've been stalling and looking around, and meanwhile the rain is already here in Seattle. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, that started happening like 2 months ago, but I decided maybe I could use artistic woo-woo to manifest the perfect raincoat in like a vision board style. If my vision board was made of plywood and was just one character who was like almost life-size, but you know, missing his legs. I'm doing a wood cutout portrait painting of a guy in a raincoat. You guys get it. I explained it very clearly and coherently.
Okay.
The first thing I need to figure out is where to cut and which areas to paint with which colors of spray paint. So I'm going to project my line art onto this slab O plywood and trace out only the few necessary lines for this step. Those being the outline for the cut and the line separating the character from the rain cloud. With my reference lines in place, I can set up the plywood for cutting. And to do the cutting, I'll be using a fancy schmancy electric jigsaw that I've only used like twice before in my life. I'll just carefully try to follow the outline as closely as I can while staying on the outside, because you can always sand your edge down to remove material, but you can never add material back. Life's cruel that way. Speaking of sanding, I'm just going to clean up the edge of all the rough spiky dealies and bring it as tight to my outline as possible. And with the cutout shapes cut out, I can add the background paints to my wood base with the help of some handy dandy spray paint. But first, I have to tape off the edge so I can actually keep the spray paint where I want it. You know, I recently heard the term rattle cans for spray paint for the first time, and I like it. Not only because it sounds so old-timey and wholesome, but also because it makes me think of some rattlesnake spray paint chimera, and that visage just makes me smile. That doesn't really have anything to do with this video, I just thought I'd let y'all know so that hopefully I can get more people using the term and we can bring it back. Anyways, after spraying the blue to green gradient for the rain cloud, I taped that section off and painted a yellow to orange gradient for the raincoat. This will give everything some base shading and contrast and just make the painting more interesting overall. One thing I will note after finishing up this background painting step with the gift of foresight, since I record these voiceover parts later, which I know technically makes it hindsight, but I also edit these, which makes time my domain in this world, is that I really should have sanded down this surface smooth just for ease of painting later on. It's not the end of the world or anything, but I realized it after I had already layered on the spray paint and I didn't really want to sand off all the spray paint and do it again, so I'm just going to tell you guys just in case you want to try this at home. But with that all in the past, we must look to the future and get ready to paint all the detailed stuff on this colorful plank. There are a couple crucial preparation steps to take here before going on to the rest of the painting. The first is to paint all the edges black so they'll blend in with the black line work and create a seamless transition around the piece. Next, I'll apply 2 to 3 layers of matte medium over the wood to give myself the best surface to paint on, though I'll only show you one. Now I can project my line work onto the piece again and actually sketch every single line I need to transfer over. And finally, we're ready to paint. Stain. First, I'll paint the cloud in with a brush because I happen to have white brush paint and it's good for filling large areas. Then I'll move on to my new best friends, the Alpha acrylic paint pens from Alpha 6.
That's actually the one I need, that's perfect.
I noticed during those fills that since I didn't sand down my surface like I was talking about, that my paint pens were catching on some of the rough parts. I still managed to get good fills though and good coverage, so no worries in the end. Now there aren't a lot of color fills in this piece because the spray paint is going to be showing through and covering a lot of the color for this design. However, where this painting is really going to start to shine is with the application of the stippling. It may seem like we're zooming along, but this isn't even half the work that went into creating this painting, so don't think I'm getting lazy on you with my art style now. I'll start by adding the highlights for all the jacket segments using a fine-tipped yellow paint pen. This takes about a Google's worth of individual dots to do with this pen, but I sped it up for y'all's enjoyment so you don't have to suffer with me. Then I'll move on to apply all the various colors for the colored in elements. In general, my rule of thumb for this is each element gets 2 added colors, 1 shadow and 1 highlight. However, I do break this rule for my advantage, giving some as little as 1 and some up to 3 where needed to lower or boost the contrast. And with all the colors added in, it's time to put them in their place by adding the black line work. The black line work solidifies all the shapes and cleans up the edges, completely transforming the painting, which is why it's by far my favorite part. You can just watch as everything comes into view and the design really starts to make its presence known with the aid of a lot of black paint. Once all the solid black areas have been defined, we need to merge them with the rest of the painting so they aren't just a layer sitting on top. And I'll accomplish this with the final but also largest, most time-consuming and daunting segment, the black stippling. It's the most time-consuming part because I'll largely be using this layer to add shading to the raincoat to bring in some depth and definition to all the folds and facets of the cloth. However, I'll also use it to shade in the darkest areas of the colored elements so they all live in the same space. And with this final pass finished, this painting is complete and ready for those final shots. Well, there you have it, my peoples. My wood cutout portrait painting raincoat is complete. And you know, compared to my last wood cutout painting that I made a long time ago, this one is far more impressive, far better executed, and just all around a better painting, I guess. I'm not really sure how else to put that, to be honest. I feel like I should have something better to say, but I don't. Anyways, I like the design a lot more, I like the colors a lot more, I like the shading a lot, and I really am a huge fan of how that raincoat actually came through. And honestly, I'm just babbling, dude. I'm just babbling. Maybe I'll use some of that. I have no clue. I'm on day cool right now, y'all, and it's got my mind going wherever the hell it wants to at the moment, so pardon me. But you guys let me know what you thought of the piece down in the comments below, and let me know if you have any questions about this video or any other video I've made. I'll be happy to read through them all and respond to them personally, as I always do. And you know, if you like this video, go ahead and give me a like. That would be fantastic. And if you like me, you like my channel, and you like what I do, the number one thing that you can do is to subscribe. I really can't thank you enough if you did. It means the world to me. And with all that out of the way, and without further ado, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace! Weak snap. It's because I have freaking Vicks Vapor Rub on my hand, so I can't snap right now. Being sick sucks, y'all. Peace!
Thanks for watching.